Hello and welcome to my small channel. I love good character design. Dynamic and complex character design. Beautiful. So whenever I see a good character design out in the wild, I need to have it in my hands. It needs to exist physically. I need to sculpt it. I need it in 3D. 2D isn't enough for me anymore. I need to be able to hold that good of a character design. So when I saw the special edition strawberry Miku design, I knew I had to have her. So I wanted to take upon myself to try and recreate this very complex design and sculpt her myself. And I also thought it would be fun to document the process and take you along with it. So yeah, this is my attempts at recreating a strawberry Miku figure. So let's begin. First, we're going to start with the head, which is just tinfoil covered in clay. And then totally not a very important part of the armature that I forgot to add earlier that connects the head to the rest of the body. Didn't forget that. And then we just add a little chin and smooth that out. So now I get to move on to my most favorite and also frustrating part of the process, her face. I really struggled with her eyes. She just has big old eyes that just stare at you, and it took so many tries to get it right. This is like the 5th attempt that you're seeing right now, and I suffer. I suffer to make her look good. And oh my god, her nose. Right, yeah. I wasn't really happy with how this nose came out, so I kind of fixed it off camera. Ignore this one. Pretend like it doesn't exist. It's not even there. Next, we just create the armature for the rest of her body, and I try to keep it somewhat in the pose that I want the final product to be in. And then we just start slapping clay on there, smoothing it out, and adding bigger shapes in certain areas to start building up the muscles, like in the calves or in her arms, and I also start to build up other areas of her body too, and just filling the entire thing with clay. And then we move on to hair. If I thought the face was frustrating, oh my god, the hair. I'm still not fully satisfied with how the hair turned out. I don't really love it. I don't think it really screams Miku, but I think it's good enough, which is all we really need at the end of the day. Then we're gonna do some clothes. The clothes were a little bit difficult because I had to have a plan in place. I wanted to do some of the clothes with polymer clay, some of the clothes with foam, and some of it with air dry clay. So this is just the polymer clay bit. If she looks a little bit like she's missing something, don't worry. I will get at it later, I promise. Oh, and I had to take her arm off because I couldn't get the details on her sleeve right, so ignore this part. And now we're just gonna make her some hands. I roll out snakes of clay for the fingers and then blend it into a little lump of clay that becomes the hand, eventually. I promise. It looks good. Also here I'm forming the hand to like be able to hold a fork, which I never ended up making. She's almost done. All she needs now is some feet. And here she is so far. Next, I have to make some of her accessories. I'm making these separately so that they don't get squished and I can just glue them onto the sculpture later. I do make a lot of fucking flowers and a lot of bows. The problem with the bows is, unlike the flowers, they're not uniform. They're different. Depending on where the bow is placed determines the size and design of the bow. So I tried my best. I certainly tried my best to make as many bows as possible and make them different and cute and as accurate as I could. I started to lose my mind a little bit by the end, but I think we did pretty good. I really like how some of the bows came out, so I'm very excited. And now we're just making some tiny strawberries. And here she is, hands, accessories, and she's ready to be baked. So after baking, we need to do a little bit of construction. Here I'm just cutting out some cardboard for the base for her to stand on and gluing some things that had to be baked separately just to make sure that they wouldn't get squished and destroyed. Okay, so next I want all of you to just lie to me. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking for her pigtails. For some reason, I didn't just use tin foil to make the armature, and I thought it would be so smart and intelligent if I just cut strips of foam and fed wire through it and then just like bent that and then we had the layered pigtail effect I wanted. I mean, it worked in the end. It was just such a stupid way of doing it. So the skirt wasn't part of the clothes. I want it to be made out of foam specifically because clay does not do well being very big and very flat. It doesn't bake well, it's hard to maintain, so it's just easier at the end of the day to do it with foam, and her skirt is very big and very flat. I'm also making some last minute frills for the skirt because I realized I had forgot them. This was a very tedious process, but honestly, I think it was worth it and I'm glad I still did it. So then we start painting. Honestly, the painting process was probably my favorite part. It was so nice to add color and life into this boring blank blob I've been handling for days at this point. This honestly was one of my biggest projects I've ever done. It was super challenging because there's just so many little details and accessories and just, she got a lot going on, which again is one of the reasons I wanted to attempt making this, but it was very hard. My hands were hurting by this point, for sure, but I'm glad I pushed through because I really like the end product. Giving her a little manicure right here, making sure she's nice and cute, and then I start putting on some more details of her clothes. So if some of the lines on the clothes here and there don't look perfectly straight or clean, if they look a little messy, don't worry, I clean them up later. It's just a very back and forth process of the two different colors fighting so I can get the straightest line that I can, and I don't think that's very interesting to watch, so I tend to cut it out. But as you can see, she has a lot of lines. But she has so many tiny details that you just don't realize are there until you have to recreate them. Like these stitches or like all the gold, I want to say netting on her sleeves. I don't know what to call this, but this part took fucking forever because my gold paint is not very opaque. So this took a minute. I'm really proud of how the shoes turned out, honestly. I just think they turned out super cute, and when I add the bow on later, it just finishes the whole thing. You don't see the heels right now. I add that with air dry clay last minute because I realized I forgot. And now it's time to paint the hair. The hair is still final boss for me, man. It's still a struggle. It's still a battle. I'm just painting this nice gradient of like this minty green color with like this other turquoisey color, and then I make sure to add white highlights to just really give her that like cute little anime hair effect. I don't know how well it came across, but I think it's pretty cute. For her hair, I decided her hair still looks too plain, and I added some air dry clay to give it more hair-like texture and little bits coming off here and there. I honestly think this was a really good decision because I love how it turned out in the end. It just makes it look a lot more full and there. And now I have to go in and paint every teeny tiny accessory. Every single bow, flower, and strawberry. I had to go in and hand paint. If you're curious, I counted. In total, I think I had over like 43 accessories that went on this one sculpture. Like, when I tell you this is one of the most detailed projects I have ever done, I was not exaggerating. it took so much out of me, and it was so tedious near the end, but we pushed through and we get a really cute end product that, again, I'm so proud of. Now we finish up by just gluing on all of her little accessories, and then we get to see her all done.